third annual Sands International Film Festival, Tom Holland talks Spider-Man and gives a tentative update on plans for a fourth entry into the series. I'm Brennan Sem for the New Wave Nerds. Let's get right into the story. We have this from Deadline, a Deadline exclusive. The ancient Scottish town of St. Andrews was hit with a heavy bout of Spidey fever this past weekend as the third annual Sands International Film Festival opened, pulling in an eclectic set of films, filmmakers, and speakers alongside one popular guest of honor. Spider-Man actor Tom Holland, also known for The Impossible, Cherry, and The Devil of All Time, passed through the fest, which opened with a screening of Last Call, a short project he leads with Lindsay Duncan that was co-written and directed by his brother, Harry Holland. The Holland brothers also took part in the first annual Sands Golf Tournament, which will continue as part of the festival's wider activities. It was on the pristine golfing greens where Tom linked up with Deadline to discuss his career so far and plans for future projects, including whether he will return for a fourth Spider-Man movie. Tom had this to say, quote, "The simple answer is that I'll always want to do Spider-Man films. I owe my life and career to Spider-Man. So the simple answer is yes, I'll always want to do more," end quote. Of course, why wouldn't you want to continue doing more? I mean, this is playing Spider-Man, especially to the level that Tom Holland did, and the degree of popularity that he's achieved, it only makes perfect sense that you'd want to keep going back and dipping into that well. Of course, never say never. I'm sure pretty shortly here, it's going to get pretty irritating being only known as Spider-Man. I feel like after a while that would get really old. I mean, I know that George Takei has often talked about how he doesn't enjoy being typecast. I don't know if this wouldn't necessarily be like the same as like a typecast, but it would certainly obviously be that which he is best. It would be that for which he is best known. That was a weird way to phrase that. I don't know why I said it like that, but let's get back into the article here. The more complicated answer, Tom added, is how he and the Spider-Man team approach any follow-up to Spider-Man No Way Home, the third title in his webbed saga, without retreading past themes. Quote, "We have the best in the business working toward whatever the story might be, but until we've cracked it, we have a legacy to protect. The third movie was so special in so many ways that we need to make sure we do the right thing," end quote. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this. I like that he specifically used the word legacy here. The idea that you have a legacy to protect, I think, is very fair with just how amazing Spider-Man No Way Home was. I mean, we've obviously talked ad infinitum here on the New Wave Nerds about how much we love Spider-Man No Way Home and how amazing that we think it is. And that's definitely a fear that we've sort of expressed, is that Spider-Man 4 may very well be very good, but is it going to stack up to No Way Home? It's very disconcerting, and I think the answer is likely no. That doesn't mean I don't think you should still give it a shot and go for it, but I do like that Tom Holland here at least seems to believe that he's not into making a Spider-Man film just to make a Spider-Man film, not to just make the money, not to just continue to be a part of the franchise. It seems like, and I think he's actually given statements previously that certainly, what was I going to say? That the only way he would like to do Spider-Man 4 is if he felt that they could top Spider-Man 3. I don't know if topping it is entirely likely, but I certainly agree with the sentiment there that if you don't think you can make a movie that is at least the same quality, don't make another movie. I really do enjoy hearing that from an actor. Back to the article here, he did have more to say in this quote. He added, "This is the first time in this process that I've been part of the creative so early. It's just a process where I'm watching and learning. It's just a really fun stage for me. Like I said, everyone wants it to happen, but we want to make sure we're not overdoing the same things." Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's certainly a good point to make, right? Once you start to make a couple movies, and I mean, there have already been multiple Spider-Man movies in the past, not to mention that they're a common complaint of Marvel movies has been the formulaic nature of the plot and the story. I think it's definitely a good thing to try to avoid. That is to say, redoing the same things. I think that's certainly something that I feel as though not necessarily many people truly care about, or at least maybe saying that they don't care about it maybe isn't fair, but it's certainly not the top of their priority list. And I think that's evident in the amount of derivative stories that we've seen over the course. Is that Joe Russo? Sorry, I was just taking a look at this picture that was in the article. I didn't realize when I read this beforehand. But yeah, that is Joe Russo. Man, he looks so short compared to everybody. And I really like that they're arranged by height. Whoever blocked this photo really knows what he's doing here. I don't know what's going on with this gentleman's hair. If this is, it seems like this is from left to right. Donald Mustard. Wow, what a name. I'm not a fan of the hair, but I gotta say, okay, the picture's not gonna get any bigger there, but this looks like the kind of hairstyle for somebody who would be named Donald Mustard. I gotta admit. So props to him, I guess, for staying in character. Man, I wonder, why is he here? What is he doing? Is he related in any way to this last call, or is he a friend? What is Joe Russo doing here? Did he produce this last call? I don't know. Or are they just homies? Did they just hang out? Or I guess it's possible that he had an entirely different film going on at the festival, or appearing. What would be the right, debuting, I suppose, at the festival? I don't know. Interesting. But like I said, like I was continuing, let's see. Tom Holland saying that this is the first time that he's part of the creative process. I guess not necessarily the fact that he says it's his first time, but the fact that he's involved with the creative process, I think bodes well. I think that's a good sign, considering the attitude that he's expressed towards creating a sequel to this in this franchise. Like we've said before, with the having a legacy to protect. If this isn't just a statement that was given to him by a PR manager, or if this isn't just something that he's saying because they don't know what's happening on the Marvel aspect of it, on the Marvel business side of it, if they don't know where it's heading. If neither of those are true, and that this is his actual opinion, then I think it does bode well, to me at least, that he's involved in the creative process. If for no other reason, then hopefully he can be there, and hopefully he has enough pull with the creative team where he can say, hey, look, guys, this is kind of weird, isn't it? Or is this too similar to what we've done with any of the other stories that we've broached? Any of the other films that we've made? Are there any themes that are recurring that don't feel like there's anything new being added? I think that does bode well, but I mean, considering this is his first time in the creative process, what is he even doing? I mean, he says he's just watching and learning. Is he giving any input? If he does give input, do they accept it, or do they brush it aside because he's watching and learning? Is he just saying this because he's along for the ride, and is sort of it? When he says a part of the creative process, what does that actually mean? Is he just in the room truly watching and listening to the decisions being made? Is he an active part? Are there plans for him to be an active part in the creative process moving forward? It's pretty ambiguous. I don't know. I hope, like I said, I hope that he is truly involved in the process here, because I do like what I'm hearing from his attitude. And he seems to be a genuine person. But from the interviews, I don't know. I feel like these could be his actual true opinions, where he says that they have a legacy to protect and not like I mentioned earlier, just the words of a PR agent, or, you know, something that's handed down from the upper echelons of Marvel, from Kevin Feige, for example. Maybe he doesn't know what they're doing. He has no overarching story plan set out yet, and so he's like, hey, just tell them that we know the last movie was good and we want this to also be good. That's entirely possible, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, obviously, what goes on in the back rooms there. Let's get back to the article here for a little bit. Reading from Deadline, starring Holiday. Where did that come from? Starring Holland alongside Zendaya, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man No Way Home opened in December of 2021 and took $260 million in its first weekend, becoming the second highest opening ever at the domestic box office. It eventually would race past the $1 billion mark and recreate a seminal internet meme. Of course, the meme with where all the Spider-Men are like, huh. I realized you couldn't see the first finger, but you got the gist of it. I'm sure you all know the internet meme, even if you're not chronically online like some of us are. It's a fairly common meme. Holland was last seen on screen in the Apple miniseries The Crowded Room opposite Amanda Seyfried, Sasha Lane, and Will Chase. The series was created by Akiva Goldsman and inspired by the book The Minds of Billy Milligan. The Spider-Man actor told us he is now engaged in the development of several burgeoning projects. Quote, we're figuring it out. We're at that stage where it's post-strike, so we're waiting for those scripts to come in. We're giving the writers the time they need to hit the ground running. But I've got a few projects that I'm really excited about, and scripts are coming in now, and they're great. I read something the other day that absolutely blew my mind. That is actually a good point that I had forgotten about until just now. There was obviously the strikes that went on over. Was that the summer that happened, or was that like early fall? I feel like it was summer, but I guess the timeline isn't necessarily important. I had actually forgotten that those strikes took place, but yes, there was the long running, the dual strike of SAG-AFTRA, the Actors and Guild, and the Screenwriters Guild. I can't remember the name of the of the Screenwriters Guild. What is that called? It's like Writers Guild of America or something. I was gonna look it up, but I'm not gonna spend the time on it. I'm pretty sure it's Writers Guild of America. I feel like WGA sounds fairly familiar, but that was one thing that I had forgotten about. Just that, probably would have been relevant a minute ago. Perhaps the reason that there have been no updates isn't necessarily because they have no legacy or because they feel as though they have a legacy to protect. It may, in fact, just be because of the fact that there is no material, right? There is no creative work being done. They have no script. There's no screenplay or anything because due to the strike going on, those screenwriters were unable to work on any projects, right? So that is a good point. That strike ended, I don't know exactly when, but it ended multiple months ago. I want to say even before the end of the year. I'm pretty certain it was before the end of the year. Somewhere around September, October, I want to say, is when the official end came. So, let's just say for argument's sake, it's October. We're 6 months later. There should be a decent amount of progress moving forward. I would think for the Star. There's an S in Spider-Man. For some reason, I went straight to Star Wars. That was stupid, but perhaps they're onto the point where they're receiving some ideas, or honestly, maybe we're not even to that stage yet. Maybe we haven't reached the script stage. Maybe we're still working in the ideas. Maybe we're still workshopping and brainstorming what the overall story is going to be and how it's going to work in to the rest of the broader MCU. Maybe we're still figuring out how to bring in some other things. What are the impacts of other MCU stories? How is this going to impact other things? Are there going to be cameos? Certainly, I, for one, hope that there's a Daredevil cameo. We've certainly talked about that enough. I just really hope it's there. And I hope by me talking about it incessantly, the idea will start to perpetrate in the zeitgeist. Is that the proper word? It'll be in the air, as it were, and hopefully they will. That is the showrunners, or it's not a TV series, but the writers, the directors will include this. I'm even just like a 30-second cameo. I mean, obviously, I would appreciate a larger team up, but I find that unlikely. Especially in a Spider-Man solo film, the first one coming off of No Way Home, they're definitely going to want to take some time to explore Peter Parker's mindset, I would think, to see where he is, how he's doing in this new world that doesn't know he exists. What is the new name that he takes on? Maybe he still goes by Peter Parker. No, because at the end of No Way Home, isn't there a... Or is there only the tombstone for May? I know that at the end of the movie, Pete walks up and he's talking to Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau, and they're talking about knowing May, because obviously, spoiler alert, she dies in that movie. But is there a Peter Parker? No, because the whole world doesn't even know he exists, right? Is it that he never existed ever, or just that they forget that is it that his existence is erased from existence? I just realized I used existence there twice. Or is it that everybody simply forgets that he exists? Right? Because I guess we've talked before on previous episodes about the fact that I made the joke that he's going to have to go to the Social Security office because there is no Peter Parker. I need to rewatch that movie. It truly has been quite a long time. It really has been. I don't know. This is weird. There was another thing I wanted to say in this quote. Right at the end, he says, "I read something the other day that absolutely blew my mind." And I think if I'm going to guess that that's pure hyperbole. I'm going to guess he just said that so that the world knows and the press knows that he's working on stuff, right? I don't think he actually read something the other day that absolutely blew his mind. I'm sure he might have read something and was like, "Oh, this could be fun." Or maybe he didn't read anything the other day and he's just trying to, maybe he just wants to stay relevant and just be like, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm still making stuff. I'm still working on projects." Just because there is no Spider-Man news doesn't mean that I'm, just lazy, right? I'm not just hanging out and chilling. So I don't know. I seriously doubt that he actually read something the other day that blew his mind. Absolutely, it's possible, but it seemed to me it was such an ambiguous statement that I think it was more along the lines of, "I just need to say something." I just need to say something. That's entirely possible. Let's get back to this article here and just finish it out a little bit. Tom Holland was just one of the few high-profile names to pass through Sands this year. The festival also hosted a unique Q&A with composer Alan Silvestri, best known for scoring Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, and Castaway, among other Hollywood classics. Sorry, that was a very hard word to read for a second. The session was bookended with an intimate performance by Silvestri, who was accompanied by the St. Andrews Chamber Orchestra. Fortnite creator Donald Mustard, oh, he looks like the kind of guy who would have created Fortnite. Oh, man. That's hilarious. Fortnite creator Donald Mustard, who is now a senior exec at AGBO, or AGBO, was also on the ground in St. Andrews. Films screened as part of this year's festival lineup included Anna Hint's Sundance-winning doc Smoke Sauna Sisterhood, say that 5 times fast, Daisy Ridley starrer Sometimes I Think About Dying, how upbeat, and Anthony and Joe Russo's little-seen 2002 comedy Welcome to Collinwood. Okay, so that explains why Joe Russo was there. I thought I remembered reading that name. Oh no, that is that. Okay, so that's why I was confused, because I had read this and read the 2002 thing, um, and I guess remembered the 2002 and not remembered that they had shown it at the festival. I don't know. Not important. The film's producer, Steven Soderbergh, I never know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Soderbergh, but I don't know, was also present for a rare on-stage Q&A following the screening of Welcome to Collinwood, of Smoke Sauna Sisterhood, or of Sometimes I Think About Dying. That seems a little ambiguous. I'm not 100% sure. Mounted across a weekend in St. Andrews, Sands is run by Ania. Wow. Ania. Guys, come on. How am I supposed to know this? Trzybiatowska. I'm not even going to bother trying that a second time. I know that's wrong, and I know I'm not going to get it right, and that's what's important here. Apologies, Anya, I don't know. I don't even know the first name. Also a full-time programmer at Sundance, with an impressive gang of part-time student programmers from the University of St. Andrews, a partner on the festival alongside Joe and Anthony Russo's AGBO. The festival closed Sunday evening with Maggie Contreras' debut feature documentary Maestra, in which 5 female conductors from across the globe prepare for and compete in La Maestra, the world's only competition for female conductors. Okay, so I want to go back just quickly here for a final note on Spider-Man 4 and Tom Holland. I'm very interested to know where they're going to take this, what story route they're going to go. I know a lot of people, especially following the post-credit scene for No Way Home and the second Venom movie, along with promotional material released for the third Venom movie. I know that many suspect that they're going to bring the symbiote over to the broader MCU. And I think while that makes sense, I don't necessarily want that. I think the most fun way, and I don't know. I think the most fun way to introduce the symbiote and the symbiote suit, the black Spider-Man suit, would be to do it in Secret Wars, which was the initial appearance of the suit in the comics as well. I think that would be incredibly fun. Plus, I think, I don't know, but there's something about about Venom. There's something about Tom Holland in Venom where I'm like, this doesn't interest me. I don't know if it's because of the Tom Hardy movies, which, I mean, are the first one is decent enough. The second one's bad, but the first one's decent enough. I don't know if it's because we've already seen a Venom story adaptation with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3. I don't know what it is, and it's something that I'm definitely going to have to think a little bit more on as to why I don't necessarily want to see Venom. I think maybe it's partially because I would really just like to see Spider-Man go back to his street-level roots, especially after No Way Home and Far From Home. Those were very grand in scale and scope, and Homecoming was very down-to-earth. And I think it would be fun for us to go back to the more street-level stuff, especially as Peter Parker seeks to, learn who he is again, right? He has to find his way in this new world that doesn't exactly, what is the phrase that I'm trying to look for here? I'm not sure, but he's got to find his way in the world is the important part of that sentence. And so I think it would be more interesting to me, at least, to see him do a more grounded story, a more grounded level story. I think that is interesting. It would be a much more fascinating look into the character of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, personally, to see him get back to his roots and not have to fight Venom, yet some alien symbiote that sort of even though you can still make the scope of the movie itself more down to earth and low key. You could have it set in just, one particular neighborhood or area. The scale, due to the fact that there is the alien aspect of the symbiote, sort of pulls away from the focus, personally, for me at least. Either way, I'm obviously going to go see Spider-Man 4. Hopefully, no, I'm not going to say hopefully. That was dumb. I was going to say hopefully we get some updates relatively soon, but it's going to be probably at least until 2025, if I had to guess. I don't think we're going to hear anything about Spider-Man until after Spider-Man 4, that is, until after Fantastic Four, at least, if I had to guess, which is July of 25. Actually, well, No Way Home did come out in 2021. But if they don't even really know exactly where they're going with it yet, then I would say, yeah, probably not going to hear anything until after Fantastic Four, I would guess. But we're gonna end it there. Lastly, I hope Secret Wars is the debut of the Venom suit, and that's all. We're going to continue to update you with any further Spider-Man news, any further MCU news. If you like this video, share it with a friend, drop a subscribe, make sure you like below. We'll be back here tomorrow for another segment.